All right, you get the message with WUML Lowell, and it's Monday morning. It is January 22nd, I believe. We have a special guest with us this morning, Rocky Morrison, the Clean River Project. Good morning, Rocky. Thank you for coming in. You know, the river's near and dear to all our hearts. We are the largest river in New England, and there's a lot going on there, and Rocky's going to tell us about what he's been finding out.
I'll tell you, I've been doing this for 13 years. Now let's see, every day it's something new. We got 81 vehicles out of the Merrimack River, over 200 tons of floatable debris, tires, everything that's historical. The mud we've been pulling out.
You pull out mud too?
Oh, not mud, but all the artifacts like tires, bicycles, carriages, you name it, it's stuck in the mud. That's the historical stuff that's been stuck down here that we've been ripping out of the Merrimack to make it a better place.
What inspired you to start this?
I was born and raised on the Merrimack River in Methuen, and I watched as a little kid. My backyard was the river, and I watched everything float down from the icicles with trash on it to things floating by, couches when I was growing up. And I just got bitten by the bug when I was 30 years old. I started cleaning up with some friends on a sandbar, and I haven't stopped.
Wow. Now, tell us a little bit about some of the other debris you're pulling up. You mentioned tires, cars, appliances. What about the situation, for example, that's affecting us all right now? Needles.
Needles. Yeah, the needle thing is something new. We've seen them in the past, but what's going on with the heroin and all that, the homeless camps, the river's flooding with them. There is an RFP right now with the cities and towns from the New Hampshire border down to do a coalition contract for a contractor to walk the banks from the New Hampshire border down the seacoast, both sides, and collect as many needles as they can find. And we did put a bid on this contract, but we're going to go one step further. We're going to drop 20-something booms along as we're coming down. We're going to put these collection booms in there, go up about 100 feet. So anything that comes up behind us will be trapped into this location, floating trap, and then we go clean them out later. But we did put that in our bid, and we're waiting to see. Hopefully by the end of the month, we'll find out if we get this bid or not.
When you say a boom, that's like that inflatable thing that goes across the surface of the water?
Yes, it's like they use for oil slicks when there's oil spills. We actually have a bunch of those, and we deploy them out there.
Okay. Tell us about the Merrimack Valley Planning Commission and what's going on with them. You have a bid, or you were invited to bid?
Yes, we were invited to bid. This is open contract for anybody that does environmental cleanings or any contractor who has the capability of collecting these needles and doing this contract. So they actually put it out for us to bid on this too, even though we're a nonprofit. They know the qualifications that we have on the river and how well we know the river. So they actually opened it up for us too to bid on this. So we went way over and above what they were asking to make sure that we cover all the bases, no matter what's coming down the river, whether it's storage or condoms or applicators or whatever else storage facilities are releasing. We'll grab that too at the same time, as well as the needles. So we went one extra step to.
Now, when you collect some of the stuff, for example, the needles, you have some stuff that you got to dispose of it in some way too. How does that get accomplished?
Basically, we have shop containers. We're all certified on picking this stuff up, and anybody that comes along that we want to hire and so forth, and volunteers, we actually send them for training to get certified. Excuse me. So it's a process.
So how big is the group of volunteers you have working on this?
Right now, we probably have 25 volunteers, and then we have all the companies that come in with their employees. So.
Okay. Now, the Merrimack Valley Planning Commission, is that local to one particular town, or does that encompass, how many towns does that encompass?
15 cities.
Okay. And where does it stand right now? When are you going to hear from this?
I would say, well, by the end of this month, we will find out who got this contract on this. And for the listeners in Lowell, I would say reach out to the city, to the mayor's office, and let them know that they should vote for this. No matter who the contractor is, they should push this RFP through. The city shouldn't.
They can do that by phone call or by letter?
Yeah, phone call or letter to the mayor's office. And
who are some of the most interested parties in the city of Lowell that they should contact?
I'd say the mayor's office or the city manager. I would go there and let the public know this is happening.
Okay, the Mass Environmental Trust grant you submitted to clean up the homeless camps. Tell us a little bit about the effect of the homeless camps being along the river. Do they contribute? Do they help out? What's the situation with that?
I'll tell you, if you go to Clean River Project on our Facebook page, you'll see some of the early videos I made this past spring of some of these camps that are just needles everywhere. They're everywhere in these camps, and they're abandoned. The homeless, for some reason, they just get up and move, and they leave all their clothing, all their tents, needles everywhere. And it's a hazard for any little kids going through, and they think they might find money or something like that in their clothing, and they might get stabbed. So it's a problem. So what we did was we went to Mass Environmental Trust. We knew there was a grant coming up. We filled out for, I think there's 13 abandoned homeless camps that are just littered with garbage and needles and all that. So we put that in the grant, as well as some other stuff for Lowell.
I know by the bridge over here, the Aiken Bridge, that section where they set off the fireworks every year, there was quite a large camp over there at one time. But they're up and down the river, both states.
Yeah, they move. They get chased out of one area. They just move to another area, and they don't go far. And they set up, and then you got the churches and the people that help them. They give them brand new tents, so they just move. They leave all their debris and all their trash and their needles, and they move to a cleaner spot with a new tent, new blankets, and they do it all over again. So we're following up and down the river, cleaning up behind them.
Tell us, you have a fundraiser going on. Let's talk a little bit about that, how that's going to be working.
Fundraiser. We have this amazing, it's called a boat skimmer. You can see it on our Facebook page or on our website. It's a piece of equipment that's a conveyor belt boat, and you can go into these booms and you can collect, it will walk all the stuff out of the water, all the floatable stuff right on the boat. You don't have to worry about getting your hands dirty, any contamination with the sewage or needles or any of the condoms that are coming out of the river. So it's really cool. This boat will walk it all up on the conveyor belt, and then what's cool about it, you can go back to the land and you can back a trail up, and this thing will come out of the water and load itself. This is a giant conveyor belt system. It's really cool, and we're trying to bring this to the Merrimack River here. We need at least 200 companies to step up and donate $1,000 apiece, or if somebody wants to make a larger donation to this, it is tax deductible. So we're really looking for help.
So you are a 501c3, so any deduction or any donation that's made to the Clean River Project is tax deductible.
Of course.
That's wonderful.
That's great. So we're looking for some companies to step up. The river is a gem. We need to just take care of this, and we need the companies to step up also to help us out and be partners.
Now, there are a couple of different ways this can work. You can donate, for example, if you get 10 people to donate $100, you get $1,000.
Yes.
How about if you get 10 people donating $10 and you get $100?
That's the great thing about these numbers, and if they want to reach out to me, I can help with this. We do have some paperwork. If you have 40 friends on Facebook and say, hey, can you donate $25? 40 friends, that's $1,000 right there. So if you don't have $100 to donate, if you get some good friends and they have a little money, you can go 10 friends, and we call it the 10 Friends Challenge. Ask for $100 out of 10 friends. We actually got the sheets of applications and so forth and all this paperwork that we can give them to help us raise this money. So not only companies, we're asking the public's help too to make this come true.
Now there's a little prize, well, I don't know if it's a prize or what do you want to call it here, but the responsible individual who's doing the work of gathering these donations, they can get a 2-hour cruise in the Merrimack River if they get 10 of their friends together?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so we put it out there that if you take the challenge, the 10 Friends Challenge, and you get 10 of your friends to donate $100 a piece, even if it's 40, whatever you guys can do. We're going to give them, when they come in with this sheet filled out with their 10 friends with the checks, we're going to give them a 2-hour cruise on the Merrimack River for 12 of their friends. Private cruise up and down the river, whatever they want to do. So yeah, that's something we're offering. Yes,
that must be a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun,
Now you've lived in the river. You're on the river all the time, so you must have found a lot of interesting spots along the river too.
There's some gems out there. There's some trails out there. There's some beautiful areas we can pull in and see the nature. You get up the boat, and it's beautiful. You get lost out there.
Now let's get this phone numbers out there. There is a contact for this if you'd like. You can call Helen at the office, 978-857-6680, or you may call Rocky at 590-9374. Now, you say you've had not the greatest cooperation in the world from some of the cities and towns along the river. Why? I don't know why that is, but I know a lot of organizations that are nonprofit that are doing good works like what you're doing, the Clean River Project. They have trouble trying to elicit support from some of the towns. I don't understand that.
Yeah, some of the cities and towns, they like kicking the can down the road to say they really don't want to put any money in Merrimack. It's like old school. I say if your mayor or your town manager they're like senior members of the society. They don't want to put any of their money into the Merrimack River, and that's why we need some young blood, some new representatives to get out there and see the gem that we have here in the Merrimack River. This is our drinking water. 600,000 people drink from this water. Do you know that there's over 100 million gallons of raw sewage dumped in the river every year?
100 million.
100 million.
And we're drinking that?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Do the math.
Holy smokes.
Do the math. So it's amazing, but I'm not going to give up the fight, and we're going to keep going.
Let's talk a little bit more about some of the pollutants you find in the water. Do you have chemists that do any sort of chemical testing of the water to find out what sort of things are in that water, besides battery acid, automobile fluids, et cetera, et cetera?
No, the Lawrence watershed was doing that for quite a while. I think there's really nobody out there. I know the cities and towns do their own testing at their water sites, but I know that the Lowell Regional Wastewater is doing an impact study of the Merrimack. I think it's a 3-year study right now. It's going on. That we're actually partnering, giving them rides up and down the river to help them with this water testing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, I know one of the things you take out of the river on a regular basis are trees.
Trees.
What do you do with the trees? Do you make firewood out of it?
We try to give them away.
Really?
There's so many floatable trees, and it's funny you say this. There's so many floatable trees. They get in our booms, and they're just a nuisance. And no one wants to deal with them. The cities don't want to pay to get rid of them. So we try to give them away.
Free firewood.
Free firewood. We would stack them and put it on Facebook or whatever. Let's say free firewood. Come and get it. We did fill out in that Mass Environmental Grant in Lowell here by the across from the beach. You'll see some floating islands that the trees are just stuck together, and it's just a mess. It's got trash and everything else in it. There's another spot up in Chelmsford, the same thing. There's a floating island of trees. So we actually put that in the grant to remove these floating islands that are out there.
Now, one of the things that you've been trying to get a hold of is a piece of property, maybe 4 to 6 acres somewhere along the river, to store your equipment and maybe where you store the trees for firewood and whatever else you got. How's that going?
Well, I'll tell you, we're hoping to talk to the town manager and the mayor here in Lowell, because there is a spot over by the water department that's closed up. It's got an asphalt parking lot, and it's not being used. We thought that'd be a great staging area for the equipment. When you take out this stuff, you need a place to store it, separate it, and then get rid of it. And, plus, we have to have so much equipment here in Lowell to keep up here. And, every time we come to Lowell, we have to trail everything. So it'd be nice to have a station, an area where we can stage our facility.
Now, you started off small, Rocky. This is Rocky Morrison, the Clean River Project that we're talking to, and he has a little fundraiser going on. I'd like to tell you a little bit about that. It's 10 for 10. You get 10 people to donate $100 or 10 people to donate $10, and you make that donation to them. And if you'd like to get in touch with them to know how to do that, fill out the forms, etc., you can call Helen at the office. Her number is 978-857-6680. Rocky's number is 978-590-9374. Now, you also have a website, too, www.cleanriverproject, all one word, .org. They also have an email, rocky@cleanriverproject.org.
Yep. You can go right on our website and donate right from your house, PayPal, whatever, and do it right from your home, your computer.
Mm-hmm. Now, a little bit about safety. You've got volunteers that are working with the river. Now, you said you do train some of your volunteers for handling needles. How about other things like, for example, I assume everybody's wearing a life vest in case you fall in, things like that. What sort of things do you encounter? For example, the currents in the rapids. Are there areas you have to be especially careful of maneuvering around?
Yeah, wherever we go, we go to a safe place. Even with the companies that we bring in, we'll have a safety talk. So, because some companies bring in like 20 employees for half a day or a day. So we'll have a safety meeting, and it's every now and then you might find a knife, you might find a gun out there. So protocol is when they find these things, they'll leave them because it could be part of a crime or something like that. So we have protocols in place where we have a discussion about safety, about if you're going in the woods, you always bring somebody with you. So we always have a safety talk, and just especially with shops, we have guys trained to pick them up. So we ask them, don't pick them up, that we will handle them. So yeah, we have a safety.
Well, I would think with things like automobiles, I'm sure a lot of them are stolen. That's how they end up there.
Yeah.
And weapons, you turn those over to the police.
Yes,
they're interested in those.
Oh yeah, the cars are funny because when they come out, they could have the keys in them. They have rocks on the pedals. So there's always a good story behind the cars.
I'm sure. Now, does the Department of Conservation Resources get involved at all?
Not really. I believe they follow us. I know the EPA follows us really close. They try not to get in the way. They follow us, and if we need them, we can reach out to them. I know the EPA follows us really closely, and they want to be bonders on taking care of the environment.
Another thing that I want to mention too is, Rocky, I'd like to invite you back. We can do some spot telephone updates, maybe 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes of your time, contact you by phone, maybe
Sure.
on a bi-weekly basis. I want to make this a regular segment of the program because I feel very strongly about the river and about water myself. I mean, we are the largest river in New England. What confounds me too, another pet project I have, is why don't we generate electricity from the river? We drove the mills. I mean, why don't we generate electricity? I don't know. Now, there's another group that you'd like to address too, and that would be students. Some of the students here that are involved with environmental studies, maybe chemistry, maybe biology, and they can call you and get in touch with you. And
well, let's talk about that. We're filling out a grant. Matter of fact, the end of this month it's going to be out, and it's an environmental impact study on the New Hampshire border, Mass and New Hampshire border. We plan on laying some booms out there and trapping whatever's coming over the New Hampshire border into Massachusetts, into our drinking water down here. What are they releasing? What kind of storage? What kind of floatables? What kind of needles? So we're pulling out. We're going to be doing a environmental impact study with a grant, and we probably need some students to to help us out doing the study.
I'm sure there are a lot of them that, when they get the word, would like to do that.
Yeah.
I would be happy to post things up here on the radio station and around for the students to have a look at.
I think that'd be a great partnership for the college to partner with us on some of this stuff.
Yeah.
And get the students involved out here.
Now, what else would you like to tell us about what is going on about the future and about where you're going with this?
The future is floatables. We're pulling out the historical trash. We're still hitting the bankings with the companies. And why we use the companies because they're guaranteed to send us 30 to 40 employees.
Oh, really?
So we love companies to be green and partner with us. We'll take them out on a day excursion, and we can target like Lowell or Lawrence or wherever. We can bring these companies in, and they're guaranteed to send us these employees. So that's why we lean towards companies.
Now, I know in past years you've targeted particular sections of the river. What have you done in the past year, and what are you planning to do in 2018?
This past summer, we were up in Hayrow. We pulled out another 200 and something tires out of Hayrow. There's a tire cove dump up there where for years they've been dumping. I think we got over 4,000 tires pulled out of this one location. We pulled out another 10 vehicles this past summer out of the waterways of Drake and Lawrence. So it was still doing excursions with the companies, taking them out, hitting the banks. And the river is a giant conveyor belt, so it doesn't sleep. So whatever gets thrown in there, it's moving down, and it gets stuck in the trees, gets stuck on the land, and it doesn't leave. So basically, it's maintenance. You have to go out and maintain the shoreline. So it's great to have these companies or volunteers to come out and help.
In spite of everything that we've been talking about, how's the fish life in the rivers?
The fish life is great. The river's come a long way. It's come a long way. We got a lot of historical trash out there. There's a lot of eagles out there, a lot of birds. It's beautiful out there. You see the ducks and the geese, and it's come a long way.
Now I know stripers come up on the spring, don't they?
Yeah,
Come up way up the river, up as far as the falls in Lawrence.
they actually got a fish ladder and it's an elevator, fish elevator. They actually got a room you could sit in and watch the fish come in.
Really?
And they raise the fish up and they let them go to the next level. Oh yeah.
Wow.
It's really cool. It's really cool. And there's some pike up there. In Methuen. There's some huge fish that come out from the ocean. It's amazing.
How about salmon? Does any salmon come up the river?
You know, I haven't heard of anybody catching these salmon. But
I have a couple of reasons for asking that question. I've been told that salmon will only swim in the Class A waterway.
Yeah.
And I had a neighbor literally lived down the hall from me and told me one time, he was always fishing. He caught a salmon up at the University Avenue Bridge out here, which I thought was pretty far up for salmon to be traveling. But
Well, I know the guys down in Lawrence who run the fish elevator there. They probably know what's coming up, you know. So maybe we should get an idea and put it on our website and on our Facebook page what actually is coming up through the elevator.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I want to mention again that this is the Clean River Project. This is Rocky Morrison, who's with us here this morning. He's our special guest. And he has a challenge going out there. It's called 10 Friends Challenge, and it's just that. We are asking people to reach out and contact 10 friends for a $100 donation for a total of $1,000 per sheet. Or, if a $10 donation, you got 10 friends who get $10, that's $100. You get enough of them, and they'll work them together. We're trying to raise money to buy a skimmer.
Boat skimmer.
A boat skimmer, and more than one at that.
Of course, you know we're hoping to bring the skimmer to reality this summer on the river, and then we're going to do it again next year. We're going to bring another one. We want to have my plans are for the future is to have one in Lowell, one in Methuen, and one in Haverhill. And like I said, the future is floatable trash and maintaining the banks, and how to do that is putting a lot of booms in the water, but you need the special equipment like the boat skimmers to clean these things up. And it's going to turn the river right around.
That's fantastic.
Turn it around.
Now you've seen improvements in the river over the years that you've. I know just looking out my window, because I look right down on the Merrimack from where I live, and you can see the trees that are being removed, and it flows better, it looks better, because trees in themselves create a blockage that then just collects more trash. There's always quite a pile of it up at the Lowell Yacht Club.
Mm.
Up there, they have before the Pawtucket Falls, there's always quite a bit there. Now your skimmer would go right in there and pick all that right out, wouldn't it?
Go right up. Yep. They'd go right in and pick all that right up.
How often does that accumulate, by the way? So in other words, you go in, you clean up an area with the skimmer,
Right.
or you do it manually, however you're doing it right now, and how often does it take for that to recollect?
You know, like I said, the river's moving. When you're sleeping, it's moving 24 hours a day. It just moves. But whatever falls in there, it's coming down. You know, like in an instance where the boating program is, if we have a heavy rainstorm, then there's a lot of stuff coming down, so it'll fill up fast. And we see that. We see it up and down the river. Say the trees that you're talking about, a tree falls in the water and it goes straight out. It acts like a boom or a dam and starts collecting all this trash. So we try to remove some of the trees, whether we push it with the boat on an angle so it deflects, but if it becomes more of a nuisance, we remove it. I know that certain people don't like that, but to maintain the river the way we do, we have to do something, because you can't have all this trash and floatable debris and dead animals or whatever else pushing up against these trees.
Wow. I would think dead animals would create a biohazard as well.
They don't smell good, I'll tell you that. We see deers out there. We see
deer?
Oh, yeah, we see
Really?
a lot of animals out there, yeah.
Well, the advantage of getting the wood out of the river is that it'll probably leach out all the creosote that's in the wood, which clutters up your chimney. So if you want to get some firewood, go down to Rocky's. Where would they go to get that? Where do you stage some of the wood that's available?
Well, basically, it's at our headquarters in Methuen.
Oh, okay.
It's at our staging room in Methuen. They can reach out to us by phone if they want some firewood. If we come to Lowell, we get this grant for Mass Environmental Trust. Look at all the wood we're going to pull out of Lowell.
That's right.
Truckloads.
By the way, that phone number is 978-590-9374. The website is www.cleanriverproject, all one word, all lowercase.org. And we're talking with Rocky Morrison, who's been doing this as a volunteer. It's outstanding work, and we're always looking for volunteers. We'd love to have some students get involved, if you're studying chemistry, biology, or environmental science, you know, you can learn a lot by getting involved with this project. And there's a reward too. Don't you have a like an annual barbecue to celebrate your success each year?
Yeah, we usually have a big celebration down the office, open house day, and we give boat rides, and usually bring down the '59 Cadillac Ghostbusters cars usually there.
Oh,
and, yeah, we give boat rides and cook out and so forth. Yes.
Now tell us a little bit more about the Ghostbusters cars since we brought that up. That's a magnificent piece of work. You
Yeah.
did that yourself, I assume.
Yeah, it's a '59 Cadillac Ghostbusters car. We actually fundraise in the fall. October usually goes out. It's a big draw. We actually raise money, and all the money that we get, donations, we actually put it back into the group, into the project. But we actually get the ladies' version of the Ghostbusters car.
Really?
The new car. Yes, we have that too.
What is it about the ladies' version?
It's a totally different car, and we have a ladies' division now. So,
okay.
So the ladies, as a matter of fact, they were here in Lowell. They had something in Halloween up here at the high school, and they were actually there. So we actually send the ladies group out, and they're all in outfits. They have the car, the whole 9 yards, and yeah.
I remember I ran into you a couple of years ago over in Methuen at the mall. We were doing a thing on drug awareness, and you showed up in your car.
Yeah.
So if they want to contact you to use the Ghostbusters vehicle and motif for a birthday party or a celebration, they call that same number.
Of course, yeah. Those cars are available as soon as spring hits. Those cars are available.
By the way, that phone number again, 978-590-9374. We're talking with Rocky Morrison of the Clean River Project. Rocky, thank you very much for coming on. Do you have any concluding remarks you'd like to make as we wind up this segment?
No, I just say everybody from here who's listening, if you're on the river and you know it, I'd reach out to your city and town manager on there and tell them to make sure they vote for this RFP regarding the needles and cleanup of the Merrimack River. I strongly say reach out to your officials.
That's great. Well, thank you very much for coming in, and Rocky, feel welcome anytime. You have something on your mind you want to bring up? And remember, we want to do some 10 or 15 minute spots with you. We're doing that on a regular basis, on a bi-weekly basis. You're listening to Thinking Out Loud at WUML Lowell, while Washington, D.C. is Thinking Out Loud. We're Thinking Out Loud!
Try to survive, living life, getting by.
City of mills, brick buildings and cobblestones, walking the streets of a place I call home. Along the Merrimack River, wind making me shiver, sending a chill up my spine, but I feel fine. All in the same boat, sisters and brothers, future generations setting sail from overseas. Destination Lowell, the city of dreams.
When you try to survive, living life, getting by. For my people. When we try to survive, living life, getting by.
Asians, Indian, Polish to Puerto Rico, Dominican, African, repping our people. Greeks, Portuguese, Mexicans, Brazilians, Native Americans, all repping the mills, kid. Asians, Indian, Polish to Puerto Rico, Dominican.